Motif set number 5, Catherine. This set is the fall set, and the first one in the set is number 61. It's called Acorn and Oak Leaves. Here's two different versions to show you. This one doesn't have the berries on it yet, and this one has been trimmed to go on a small project. But this is 2 acorns, 3 leaves, and then some berries. Nothing really spectacular stitch-wise on these except this little star stitch here on the berries. It's pretty cute. The next one is the pumpkin. Have a couple of these, and this is a cute way to kind of highlight some cute plaids and textures on these bigger pieces. And this is a coral knot stitch down the veins. This is a stem stitch, and then a outline stitch down through the vein, and everything else is just whip stitched. This one is couched along the edge after it was appliqued, and then a woven or a threaded back stitch down through the leaf. This next one is the scarecrow. I think this one's a cute one. Straight stitches for the hair, lazy daisies for his flower, just an outline stitch with straight stitches across for his mouth, and stem stitch on the bow. The next one is the Indian corn, and there's a couple of different ones here. Kind of getting them going the same direction. It looks like everybody kind of copied each other on this one, and this is a coral knot stitch down through the corn on these two. And I do like the different greens on this one. This seems a little more flat, but this does add some interesting texture, and I like the purple threads in there. That's just a really good generic variegated thread. This one is a scroll stitch, it looks like, through the middle there. So that's kind of a fun one. The next one is the squirrel, and I have kind of a bad example. This one, there's not enough contrast with his body and his tail, so I'm going to take that off and do a different tail. And this one is the turkey work stitch all along his tail. Isn't that cute, the little fluffy tail on that squirrel? The next one is the apple basket, and here's one that's been trimmed down. Lots of cute just rivets that are French knots in the bucket, and straight stitching, back stitch, whip stitch. Here's another one that's already put in the quilt. And this one again is just a cute little generic basket. In this one, all the apples are the same color, and so to differentiate between the apples, there was just an outline stitch done with some gold thread. The next motif is the cornucopia, and whoops, there's that one. And this one has just lots of little applique, and you can use a few plaids and textures in it. That's a fun one. The turkey is next, and this one has just some little straight stitches, arrowhead stitches done that are singles. The feet on this one is just several rows of back stitch next to each other. The wattle is just appliqued on, and then around the tail feathers there's just rows of French knots. This next one is in the quilt. I'll grab it. Here it is. There's lazy daisies out here for the blossoms on the wheat. The wheat ear stitch would be another good stitch to use. Again, you can highlight some plaids and fun things. The next one is the maple leaf. Two different varieties. This one is a really big plaid for the leaf itself, with variegated threads going through it. And this one was also a variegated overdyed wool, but it didn't show up very much. So then we came back and did a really highly contrasted variegated thread for the vein. The next one is the owl. This would be a fun one to put some beads, big flat round beads or buttons for his eyes. That would be kind of fun. The next one is leaves and berries. And we'll get them facing the same direction here. Just a different color scheme. And the little berries were attached on both of them with just little French knots through the center. This next one is called Pumpkin Patch. A couple of pumpkins together. Totally different intensities of orange, and there's no right and wrong, just really fun little pumpkins. And this one has the lines in it, this one doesn't. This one has a cute little scroll going through it with a chain stitch. The autumn tree I don't have. And this next one is called the Sunflower House, and this is going to be a notebook cover. So it's halfway beaded, but it shows you the design of the motif well. And this is just all little pieces that are appliqued on. To do the windows, there's a straight stitch going up and down, another straight stitch going across. I did do a line of straight stitch right here, or outline stitch, to just separate the front of the house with the side. And then these are lazy daisies for the leaves, just a little plaid here in the middle. And on this one I stitched down the petal of the flower. I've done it before where I've left it just loose, and it works that way also. Stitch, let's see, motif set number 5.